So how to join Navy Federal Credit Union? Well, we're going to talk about some ways here. First of all, they're meant to serve the military in the military families. Okay. So basically, I am a son of a Navyman. My dad was in the Navy, so I automatically qualify just by that. But parents, grandparents, spouses, siblings, children, including adopted and stepchildren, grandchildren. And this one right here, household members, is the hack that a lot of people don't tell you about. So if Eduardo never had anybody in the military and he lived with me as a roommate and he had something with his address, his name, and basically said, hey, I am a roommate of Dan. Here's his address. Here's my address. I want in. They would let him in based on household members. Basically, he's living with me. Okay. So what do they need for that? They need to have that the address matches your Navy Federal Credit address. So as you can imagine, that's the biggest hack that people get in about, because people magically have the address match the member's address, right? So a lot of people will try to sell you access codes and do things like this and give you their address and things like that. That is the hack, okay? That is what they do, is they're basically just saying, hey, listen, you can leverage my address. And that's how people are getting in that don't qualify under the family members route, okay? It was right there in writing, right off their website, household members. Doesn't have to be family, doesn't have to be blood. As you can see, children adopted, there's no blood relation there. Stepchildren, there's obviously a half thing there as well through marriage. So as you can see, it's right there on the website. That's the loophole that people exploit if you did not know. Active duty, retired, and veterans, okay? You got, it's pretty self-explanatory. Coast Guard's involved in that, National Guard, Space Force as well. And so you guys can kind of look into that as well. When you're applying for membership, okay, now I'll tell you kind of how I did it in a minute. It's really simple. You can call them over the phone anytime at night, okay? The cool thing about Navy Federal is they're open 24 hours a day, okay? So you can call them whenever you want to call them. I love that aspect. So if I'm in Asia, I can call them up and I can talk to them regardless of the night, because remember, they serve the U.S. forces, okay? Also, you're going to need to have your social security number. You're going to have your current home address, your driver's license, and then you can actually fund your account with a credit card or a bank account as well. So it's a quick way to do that. I believe that the limit with funding a Navy Federal account is $250. I could be incorrect on that. It could be $200, but it's along those rounds. That's another easy way to liquidate a credit card without having it code as a cash advance. So you could take any type of credit card you want, open up your account with a credit card. It won't code as a cash advance. All right. On top of that, what I did is when I called in, they actually didn't ask for any documentation that I was part of the military family. I basically said my dad was military. He was in the Navy. They never asked for his papers. They never asked me to send anything in. So they went right off my word. That was my experience. So many people asked me about that. Okay. There's also, I have a video on YouTube, many YouTube videos on it, entire playlist, secret ways to join Navy Federal Credit Union. You guys can watch that, smash the thumbs up button and kind of go through some of my Navy Federal Credit Union videos. My job here, my goal here is not to regurgitate things that have been on my channel, but to try to give you a step-by-step overview of the entire credit union. So that way you get the full grasp of it. And then you can also ask questions tonight of questions that you may have about Navy Federal, because they're the biggest and the baddest. It feels like every time somebody puts out a Navy Federal video, it blows up. So you guys can check that out on your own time. I want to talk about the two credit builder products that everybody talks about, the pledge loan and the secured credit card. So everybody listen up, okay? The pledge loans have no credit card, no hard credit check, okay? So write that down, no credit check. I don't want questions. Is there a hard credit check? No, there's no hard credit check for a pledge loan. It's amazing, guys. This is literally the hack to help you really manufacture your credit report to be what you want it to be. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, what's more important, your credit score or your credit profile? Credit score or credit profile? Okay, time's up. It's your credit profile, okay? Credit score is important. Your credit score can fluctuate. Super easy, very easy to manipulate. I know people with 800 scores with a horrible profile, nothing built out. Your profile says you are fundable, you can be lent to, okay? It shows your track record. Your score just shows your behavior, but your credit report shows, your credit report actually shows your, your credit profile shows that you are you are lendable, okay? So they want to see when somebody's pulling up and you're applying for a $50,000 loan and you've only had a $1,500 loan or a $2,000 loan, do you think they're going to give it to you? Most likely not, okay? Especially in 2023. They want to see what other people have lent you. They want to see your payment history. They want to see how quick you paid it off. A pledge loan is a really easy way to hack that. Basically, what that is in a nutshell, okay, and we'll bring Joe at the end where he can kind of explain that really well because he's super articulate with this. But basically, you can actually have a pledge loan up to $100,000, believe it or not. So you can manufacture whatever trade line you want to show up on your report. Okay, what happens is let's say it's $20,000. You call them up, say, I want to start a pledge loan for $20,000. You deposit $20,000 in a savings account. They then freeze that money. They create a trade line of $20,000. They give you a loan against the money that you have in your savings account. Once that is there, then they release those funds back to you. And then you can pay 80 to 90% of that off once it reports to your bureaus. Okay. The biggest mistake is people just go ahead and get antsy and do it right away. No, you want the full amount to report to the bureau. So that way they can see, boom, it hit the report at this type of limit. And then you would then pay that off 80, 90% after that is shown. So that way the next month they could see, oh, wow, they paid that down 80 to 90%. Okay. We can talk about that more, but it's a massive way to credit hack your profile. Okay. As you can see right here, you guys can look this up, certified pledge loans, Navy Federal, you'll get this document. Okay. But you can see right here that you can do $100,000 trade lines right there. I'm not making that up. Everything I'm saying here is in writing. Okay. So it's really a great way to borrow your own money. Okay. I don't know any other program out here that is so easy to manufacture installment loans. This is manufacturing an installment loan. You can do as many of these as you want. Okay. There's a strategy to that, of course. You can ask your questions at the end, but it's very, very helpful. So when you need to have a loan and you have bad credit, this is a great way to do that. Most people in credit repair will tell you this: don't apply for anything new. Why? Because they want to keep the illness going, right? So while they're going at the negatives, this is a great positive blood flow to add, because making payments on time is massive. Right? Being able to start putting fresh blood in your profile is important. Okay. So when they're telling you not to apply for anything, I would argue with them, say, no, go tell them to go get a pledge loan. Tell them to get the biggest pledge loan that they can possibly afford to invest in their credit. So while you're working on the negatives and disputing the negatives, they could be adding credit trade lines that are going to be positive to their profile and really help them in the long run. Most people won't tell you that because they want to maintain the illness instead of cure the illness. And no, I don't do credit repair, so don't ask me. Okay. Of them as of yet, I have to see results, and then I will be able to tell you, yeah. But that's right there, so you guys can see that.